So there's a lot of players for the Niners where their futures might be in question. In regards to Deebo Samuel, he's heading into this final year of his deal. I believe there's no guaranteed money left on the contract. What do you think his future holds with the San Francisco 49ers?
I wouldn't be surprised if they move on from Deebo. You know, he had his best year before he got his contract. They had the ugliness before he got the contract. He hasn't quite lived up to it, and teams have to rip the name off the back of the jersey, and they got to make decisions about what is in the best interest of the team. They're going to have some decisions to make about Deebo, about George Kittle, about some of these older players. They got to decide what to do. I think it wouldn't be a surprise if Deebo gets moved. There was a report during the season that made me think that maybe the Seahawks would get in play if Deebo's available. I don't know. You always wonder how many layers deep the intrigue goes that causes these reports to come out on a Sunday morning. But it made me think that maybe the wheels were in motion for Seattle to get Deebo. But maybe that's just a way to scare the 49ers into be careful what you wish for, like the Giants found out the hard way with Saquon Barkley this year.
So an underrated name for a potential offseason contract extension is George Kittle. Do you see him potentially entering those conversations and maybe getting that extension?
The guy still plays at a high level, and in the postseason it was obvious. He's got an energy that is unmatched. It felt like maybe he was getting close to the end of the road with the cap numbers and whatnot, but the best way to control a cap number is to extend the contract. You gotta look at what the market is, you gotta look at what he wants. I can't envision him in any other uniform. And again, he still brings a lot, tangibly and intangibly, to the football team. He can help start that engine. You need an eclectic mix of personalities, and he's that guy who can really light up the room and get guys excited about playing football. I'd want a George Kittle on my football team, and the 49ers would be very smart to keep him around as long as he wants to play.
The big talking point around the San Francisco 49ers is obviously around the quarterback and the offseason contract negotiation. What do you see happening with Brock Purdy, and what do you project that contract looks like?
Well, I wouldn't sign him this year. I'd make him play another year. I think it's undetermined. I would make him an offer based upon what we've seen so far. I don't know what the magic number would be. The market's currently $60 million a year. Would I offer him $35 to $40 million? Maybe. I would offer him a contract that would not be anywhere close to the top of the market. If he wants top of the market, you got to come back and you got to earn top of the market. Then it's a good problem to have if we end up having to pay him top of the market because he has this phenomenal fourth season. They've got the benefit of being able to squat on him for one more year. They can play the franchise tag game for a year or two if they want to. I would not. And I keep waiting for one of these teams that has a middle-of-the-pack quarterback who is good enough to get another contract. Say, just because you're good enough to get another contract doesn't mean you're going to get the best contract in league history.
Absolutely. And just a couple more, and I'll get you out of here. What do you project the future of Kyle Juszczyk? Do you think he played his final snaps with the 49ers?
It sure felt like it's inching toward that point. The question is, how much is he willing to take less in order to stick around? And he took less last year. You know, Jerome Bettis did that in Pittsburgh. You want to stay with the team, and they'll take advantage of it if you'll do that. It's like any place of business. If they know you want to stay there, they'll screw you. They grease the squeaky wheel, and they ignore the wheel that is more than happy to stay on the machine. And they'll take advantage of that wheel, and they'll pay that wheel less money if they can. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again.
All right, last one. I'll get you out of here. What was your kind of initial reaction to the 49ers bringing back Robert Saleh, and how do you project that impact to look for the 49ers?
I think it made a ton of sense. Look, I don't think it's his fault things didn't work out with the Jets. Woody Johnson fired him before he should have. They were better than they've been in recent years, and Fred Warner already said it best. It brings back an energy to that defense, and it's been lacking. I think it's great news for the 49ers. They pick up right where they left off. He had no misgivings about going back to that old job. I think it's going to be great for the 49ers.
So the big news yesterday was Myles Garrett requesting a trade. Do you think there's any chance that the 49ers could get involved and maybe make a call to see if Garrett could be available for a trade to them?
Well, here's what I think will happen if the Browns are willing to do it. Here's what they should do. They should take a page out of the Texans playbook with how they handled the Deshaun Watson trade. They essentially pre-approved 4 teams with trade terms. So if you go to that team, this is what we're getting. You go to this team, this is what we're getting. You negotiate the deal with 4 or 5 teams. He clearly wants to play for a high-end contender. The 49ers would potentially be on the list, assuming that they could find a way to make the cap work with Nick Bosa there. But I think the 49ers would be on his list if the motivation is go somewhere and try to win a Super Bowl and then you get the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Eagles, all the great contenders at the table, and Garrett picks his next destination, that's possible. I think it's a complicated stew of factors, but I wouldn't rule it out because he clearly wants to go to a team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl, and the 49ers are one of the teams right now in that category.